Hey guys, it's me Kevin, and I am going to do the last part of my 4-part series on the future of AFL franchises today. And in this video, I'm not going to be talking about the future of any franchise or any new franchises, but the future of the AFL itself and how it can work with a 20-team competition. So recently I've talked about the AFL expanding to 20 teams. Those two added teams would be Tasmania and Canberra, whilst I also said that North Melbourne should relocate to the Northern Territory on a temporary basis first and see how that goes, while I also spoke Bulldogs should increase games at Ballarat, but I don't really see the relevance in that in the context of this video. Anyway, today I will be now talking about how a 20-team competition would work in the AFL, mainly in regards to list sizes, but also in regards to the fixture. Let's start off with the list sizes first. So, the major argument against AFL expansion I keep hearing is, the talent pool is going to be diluted even further. It was already diluted when Gold Coast and GWS joined, now it's just going to be so diluted. I agree with that. But also, the list sizes at the moment are 44 from memory. I think lists only need to be about 40 players. There only needs to be about 40 players. I don't think we need 44. So basically, if each team gets cut 4 list spots, all those, I think, you could send them all to Tasmania or Canberra, okay? Currently, there are about approximately 800 players on AFL lists. If everyone had exactly 40, no more, no less, you multiply that by 20, comes out to 800. Therefore, you don't need to expand the talent pool any further. You've already got the players on lists, you just need to shift them over. So that's what I think should happen. Now, I know what some people are saying. Well, no, isn't the AFL clubs, aren't they just going to cut their 4 worst players and give them to Tassie and Canberra? Nah. Because you see, they're going to cut the salary, well, they should cut the salary cap as well, which means that star-studded lists like the Eagles, like Geelong, like the Bulldogs, they're going to have to give away a player or two that they consider on their best 22 that they don't want to give up, but they have to give up, or otherwise they're going to risk being kicked out of the finals at a massive fine. So, for example, the Eagles might have to give up an Andrew Gaff, or if they want to keep all their star-studded midfield, they might have to give up someone like, I don't know, a Brad Shepherd or a Jamie Cripps or a Jack Darling, maybe. You never know. Same with the Bulldogs. There's no way they would have been able to keep their midfield the way it is right now. They'd have to give one up. And I mean, especially Collingwood with the whole fire sale last year. Imagine if Tassie and Canberra were starting up this year, okay? They could have gotten about 5 or 6 players from Collingwood, those 2 clubs. So that's what I reckon should happen. Salary caps should be cut. List sizes should be cut by 4 spots, and those 4 spots go to Tasmania and Canberra. Therefore, you have 800 players on an AFL list. On a salary cap on, what is it, 12 million now? I'd say about 10 to 11 million would be a good number. What I reckon also needs to happen is that Tasmania and Canberra should be developed in a way that they're ready for premiership contention straight away. The biggest mistake, I think, with GWS and Gold Coast, because it hasn't worked out for either team, is that they started off with a very, very, very young list, that they were so bad in the first few years. In Gold Coast, they're still a bottom 4 team. In the case of GWS, I mean, okay, you could blame that into poor coaching or poor managing or something. They had a talented list, but it never really converted to a premiership. I mean, top 4, yeah. Grand final, yeah. 1 year, yeah. But it didn't really convert to a premiership at the end of the day, and I still think that expansion plan was a bit of a fail on the on-field front. So I reckon Tasmania and Canberra should get star players from day one, okay? Where they're competing for the premiership in their first year, okay? And that can be done by cutting the list sizes of other clubs, cutting the salary cap. Even if Tassie and Canberra have a bigger salary cap to start off with to try and get more star players in, I think that would work. I think what they should do is have a bigger salary cap, and then as years go on, it shrinks back to the normal salary cap. I feel like this would be beneficial as more people would be interested to go and support Canberra and Tasmania if they're in premiership contention rather than if they're just some new team just starting out losing every week. Fans would much rather want to get on to a club that's in premiership contention, that's winning. And I'm talking especially for Canberra, okay, who has to compete with the NRL team, the Raiders here, okay? I reckon both of those clubs should be in premiership contention, and just imagine how big their support will be in their first year if they reach the preliminary final, or even any final, actually, even if it's an elimination final. I reckon that's the way to go. One of the toughest things with 20 teams is trying to start them up, and so the financial implications of starting up teams might be a bit dear. Now, I think what did go wrong with Gold Coast and GWS, they'll put in like rugby heartlands, okay? Both of them rugby heartlands, and they also didn't start out all that good, and then they shot up late. Well, one shot up later. But yeah, it didn't really work out, and they're still pumping money into them. I reckon what should happen with Tasmania and Tasmania's alright because it's in an AFL heartland, and they're not really competing with anyone in the winter months, so Tassie should be fine, especially if they're in premiership contention. And Canberra, well, you could tell with the Giants there was enough support there, okay? And so if they're in premiership contention, there'll be enough support for a Canberra team. And I genuinely reckon that they will perform better off-field than what Gold Coast and GWS did. Yes, they will still require big startup costs, but I reckon eventually it will be much quicker to start them up than it would be for Gold Coast and GWS. Plus, Peter Gutwin has also said he will fund Tasmania, so Tassie's half sorted. Don't know what you do with Canberra, but yeah. As for North Melbourne, yeah, I still think that they're getting enough money from Victoria, even though they might have to make a few more flights to Darwin here and there. They're still based at Arden Street, remember? So I still think they're generating enough money to cover for their Darwin joint venture. And now, let's look at the impacts on the fixture. So, if the negatives of a 20-team competition were the financial implications and the talent pool, I reckon the fixture is one of the reasons for expansion to 20 teams, okay? Right now, we have about 22 games each season, and let's face it, it's not an even competition, okay? Some teams play each other once, some teams play each other twice. It's quite unfair, especially St Kilda. They'd be really upset with their fixture this year. Port Adelaide might win a minor premiership on fixture alone, okay? I'm not saying it'll be completely fair based on a 20-team competition, but given that each team only have to play each other once and a rival twice, I reckon it becomes much more fair. With 20 teams, okay, you can play a 20-game season. So each team, as I said, plays each other once and their rival twice. That would be their crosstown rival in the case of Tassie and Canberra, each other. And what about for the Victorian teams? Well, I'd say Collingwood and Essendon, Richmond and Carlton, Geelong and Hawthorn, Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne, or Northern Kangaroos, and Melbourne and St Kilda should be the double-ups. Apart from that, everyone only plays each other once. What that also means on the fixture, there is an extra game each round, which would increase TV value. And whilst, yes, we are reducing the season by 3 rounds, it'd really be 2 because you have to throw in a bye round. So really, whilst you're reducing it by 2 rounds, you still get an extra 2 home and away season games, which isn't really much. But it's not as if you're losing much games. As for the finals, I reckon the final series should be between the top 10. So top 50% make the finals instead of top 46% at the moment. So yeah, with a 10-team final series, I reckon it should be split. The quarterfinals should be split into different types of finals. You've got first v second, and then third v fourth. The first v second, they just play off for a direct ticket to the preliminary final. Second, third, and fourth then play off for playing an easier elimination finals. The elimination finals will be between 5 and 10, 6 and 9, and 7 and 8. Okay. Obviously, second would play the lowest ranked elimination finalist, whilst the winner of the loser of the third and fourth game would have to play the highest ranked elimination finals. Then the winners of those 3 games go into the preliminary final, and then the 2 winners of that will go into the grand final. There has been 9 finals games in the past. Ever since they've done the top 8 system, I think there's been 9 finals games. Now there's about 11. So 11. Yeah, 5 plus 3. Yeah, so there'll be 11 games. So that'll be an extra 2 finals. And so overall, that would be an extra 4 games. So that is my opinion on the future of the AFL franchises and how a 20-team AFL competition could work. I reckon it can work, a 20-team competition. I know some commentators and journalists are skeptical of this, but I reckon a 20-team competition will work if done right. Anyway, I hope you like this video. I hope you like this series. Please subscribe, please like, comment what you thought of the video down below, and what is your opinion on the AFL expansion topic. Check out my other videos in the series, and also check out my other YouTube videos, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.